Everybody, welcome to the Michael Finkley Show. I'm Michael Finkley. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. Yo, this month is flying by. Oh my gosh, like seconds. But what have you done to be productive? What have you done for yourself? What have you done to get yourself to the next level? Have you been working? If you have not, let's get to work. If you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and the Michael Finkley Show and ring that bell for notification, and you will receive emails saying, oh my gosh, new content is uploaded. Very cool. Now, today's show, we're talking about HBCUs. I'm a strong advocate for HBCUs because I went to one, the Allen University in Columbia, South Carolina. Today, we're talking with Dr. Emmanuel Lalande and Mr. James Winfield of Benedict College. They're going to tell us everything that's happening and how COVID-19 is affecting them as well. So, don't you go away. We'll be right back.
Next, we chat with Dr. Lalande and Mr. Winfield of Benedict College. We'll be right back. On the next Michael Finkley, Wednesday, we have Mr. Trey Gimmich with us as we talk about his podcast, his educational consulting firm, and his book, Every Decision Counts. Don't you dare miss the next Michael Finkley.
Everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Y'all, I'm telling you, just hold on. We have two special guests today from the Benedict College located in Columbia, South Carolina. And I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves to you all. We're going to start with Mr. Winfield. Just tell us about yourself and your position at Benedict College.
Well, Michael, thank you so much. My name is James Winfield. I serve as the inaugural director of student retention and the Student Success Center at Benedict College. My experience spans in student success, working in TRIO programs, student activities, along with working in first year seminars. So I'm not an HBCU graduate. I went to Auburn University, but I do consider myself as HBCU influenced because I mean, if it weren't for Tuskegee, if it wasn't for Miles College, if it wasn't for Alabama State, those trips that I took to those institutions, I would not have known that college was an option. So very grateful to be a part of this conversation right now.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Dr. Lalande?
Well, Michael, thank you again for having us. My name is Dr. Emmanuel Lalande. I'm the Vice President here at Benedict College, the 2019 HBCU of the Year, the HBCU that put the BC in HBCU. And for me, it's been a wonderful 3 years. I am enjoying it with my role as Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Services. I like to look at it as recruiting, retaining, persisting, and graduating quality students.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you again for being on and representing that gold and purple of Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you so much. So I guess we can just start with questioning with HBCUs, right? Do they still matter? Do they actually still matter?
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting question that folks keep asking, and to be quite frank, you know, when you deal with racial incidents that continue to happen around the country, yes, absolutely, HBCUs still matter. When we make up 3% of America's colleges and universities, but yet 20% of African Americans graduate from HBCUs, yes, we still matter. When you think about buying Black or supporting Black owned, yes, HBCUs still matter. When racism goes away, yes, HBCUs still matter. A place where you can continue to find yourself and know yourself. You will have a lifetime of an opportunity to conform to society's you know, code switching and et cetera. But when it comes to being at an HBCU and the HBCU environment, it's bar none.
Yeah, definitely. James, want to add anything to that?
Yeah, definitely. So just to echo what Dr. Lalande just said, I mean, and thinking about the social unrest that exists right now, whereas, you know, students who may be at a PWI have had, you know, spaces that were supposed to be safe, targeted and interrupted. and had their conversations, taken apart. Unfortunately, you don't have to search for that affinity. You don't have to search for that community at an HBCU. So that extends to the relevance. And I think one of the things right now, I'm really big on first generation college student research. I'm a part of the Black First Gen collective. And with that, when you think about those 33% of students that graduate, first gen students that graduate with their degrees, think about how many of them come from HBCUs. I mean, so many of them. Yeah. So I would love to see a data report that breaks down how many first gen students, come from HBCUs, because I mean, it's a pipeline and it helps to foster that community and show students how to be the best that they can be.
Definitely.
And when you think about those first gen and underserved population, 80% of our students fit that category. So for us, it is a mission. It is the work. It is more than just a title. Titles really don't matter at HBCUs because James has dibbled and dabbled in other areas. So have I, to make sure that we continue to drive student success.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I love about the whole HBCU aspect. We're all working together to accomplish the ultimate goal here, right? So absolutely. I love it. I love it. So what do you think about, I've seen this a lot in social media. Now HBCUs have the brand name now of Ivy League. What are your thoughts about that? James, let's start with you.
Yeah, you're thinking about, you're talking about the Black Ivy category? Yes. Okay. So like your Morehouses, Howards, and okay. I think it's cool. I mean, it's something that was, I can't remember when I first heard about that designation. It was probably maybe late in undergrad. I can't remember, but I was like, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, there are certain HBCUs that are, that have that brand recognition and household name. But one thing I do try to be cognizant of is thinking about those institutions that can dominate the space, and how do you make room, for Allen? How do you make room for Benedict? How do you make room for these other institutions that are doing phenomenal work and not create that divide? So that's one of the things I do want, us to be cognizant of. But I do like the level of pride that shows that, our institutions have that caliber that we regard as Ivy.
Yeah.
And I think it's a phenomenal thing to be in that category, right? So if one HBCU is winning, we all are winning, right? When you see someone like Kamala Harris, who's coming from Howard University, is now putting HBCUs on the map, right? We've been here for a long time, but now we are arriving and we are part of the conversation. When you have NBA players like Chris Paul, who's supporting, and all these different celebrities who wants to continue to support the brand of HBCUs. Anything and everything helps because we've been here for over 150 years, and we're going to continue to be here, and we're going to continue to be relevant.
I love it. And I love the way you mentioned that now in the media, exposure's out there for HBCUs.
Absolutely.
Do you think, over time that HBCUs will see the enrollment goals that they wish to see in the future?
I think so. I think so. When you have white supremacists walking through campuses of predominantly white institutions, when you have Black students feeling uncomfortable on their campus, yes, I think HBCUs will see an uptick. When you have superstars in the sports space beginning to make the transition to HBCUs, yes, I do think we're going to get to that level where we should have been long before. Funding is going to be important. We see Netflix and others starting to fund HBCUs. UNCF and their work is going to continue to be important. Advocacy, Thurgood Marshall and their work for the public schools. That's going to continue to be important. we need to continue to pray for our presidents, our HBCU presidents, and pray during this time as they continue to move their institutions forward. Now is the time to really hunker down and pray as we navigate this new norm called COVID.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely the new norm, right? So in the state of South Carolina, Benedict College is one of 8 HBCUs in the state of South Carolina.
Absolutely.
How is the unity between you all in the state of South Carolina? What does that look like?
I think it's a work in progress. I think we continue to find common ground where it makes sense. Or there are different institutions that are in South Carolina. Allen being smaller than us, but we share in programming, we share in athletic space. Claflin, when it makes sense, we share in those spaces as well. South Carolina State, Voorhees, Morris, and Clinton, we definitely continue to find ways to partner. So for me, that is always important. So when I first arrived here at Benedict College, the first thing I did is formed a HBCU South Carolina VP roundtable, and really started to find ways, how do we begin to work together in enrollment, retention, and really begin to find ways where we can partner. So absolutely, we continue to find those opportunities.
Awesome. Even in the retention route, James?
Unity
makes sense?
Well, in the retention route, I think there's some things that are starting to form there, because I know at Allen, they were looking to host a conference this year. I think they got disrupted by COVID, and they were looking to have someone who's renowned in retention, regardless of institution. Dr. John Gardner was set to speak there, and I was really looking forward to being, going to that and being a part of that. But I think it's starting to evolve, because I think about retention work about kind of like I think about diversity and inclusion work, and hear me out when I say this, is the fact that people used to say, oh yeah, go do diversity work. What does that mean? And people will say, oh yeah, go do retention work. What does that mean? And the thing is, you have to integrate diversity throughout every single framework, just like you have to do with retention. It has to be on the forefront of the table. Like when people look to me and they may say, where are freshmen, I can pose that same question back to them. So we all have to be comprehensive in thinking about how we're doing that. But I think that's starting to blossom as institutions, evolve and are having, comp positions like mine, I guess, Director of Student Retention, Student Success Center, academic success, whatever they choose to call it. There's starting to be a trend of that type of person at various institutions, but also knowing that you have to start from the top down and make sure that that language is across the board, that it's a collective and collaborative effort, not just one person that's the sole responsible person. Like, I can collect the data, I can help to move the needle and bring the conversations to the table, but we all have to be thinking about it as far as making sure that we do right by our students, because you got to take everything into consideration. Our students are not monolithic.
Exactly. And I love the way you say we have to all work together. I'm working with Enrollment Management. I'm working with financial aid. I'm working with Red's Life, because at the end of the day, it's all about the student. And if they're not here, we're not here, right? That's what it's all about.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, definitely. But when we come back, we're going to get a more in-depth look about Benedict College in this time of COVID. All right, we'll be right back.
Coming up, what's next for Benedict College? Well, you'll find out here. We'll be right back. The Finkley Experience is an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. We assist parents and their students with the college process. We train school administrators, and we also partner with colleges and universities to assist with their first-generation population. To learn more about our consulting firm and to purchase our book and workbook, please visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com.
Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. We're still chatting with Dr. Emmanuel Lalande, and we're also chatting with Mr. James Winfield. They're giving us some awesome insight of Benedict College here in Columbia, South Carolina. James, when it comes down to the retention aspect, especially now during COVID, what are some different methods that you're using to kind of just keep students engaged?
Oh, Dr. Lalande and I have conversations about this all the time. Like it's almost kind of obsessive where we have to continuously think about just, moving things to a virtual space and thinking outside of what we do. So, I mean, just honestly, in the age of digital learning and COVID, you have to over communicate as much as possible. So I think about, like, for instance, for our first year students, like, within HBCU culture, it's always a class-based officer selection process. So I'm continuously putting that out to ensure that students know whether they are in California or they're, on campus, that we want to see your application. We want to ensure that you have the opportunity to lead. Just other leadership opportunities that I'm thinking about. Last year, I had my inaugural group we rebranded this thing called the Freshman Institute, but it's a leadership academy. So doing something like that to ensure that students, cohort of students, get leadership skills. So with that, we're going to have like a bi-weekly session where they just, have the opportunity to talk to different business leaders, different community leaders, people on campus, learn how to communicate properly and be a advocate and ambassador for BC. So just really thinking outside of what you would typically do. And I think a lot of things can transfer. It's just a matter of just reframing your thinking and just moving that to a virtual space. So that's on an activities-based level. Tutoring, we moved that online during COVID. That was successful. So we're keeping that there. Our success consultations, which some may call success coaching, whatever it may be but those skills-based sessions and just check-in sessions, that's online, but we also utilize what we have in place. So we utilize Microsoft Teams like many other institutions. So taking advantage of the platforms that are currently within our, that we already paid for and making, solid use of our resources, and then looking at resources that we have that we don't really use and how do we heighten the use of that. So that's just a quick, idea of how I've been looking at some engagement.
Gotcha. But it's ongoing, right?
Oh, no, it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. He's trying to make my job easier. So when you think about enrollment, is different from admissions, right? So from the enrollment standpoint, the recruiting, retaining, persisting and graduating, and looking at the totality of that cycle is so important. So I have a phenomenal admissions director in Keisha Montgomery. She is doing a phenomenal job. As a matter of fact, the last 2 years since my arrival, unfortunately COVID took the third year, but the last 2 years, we had the highest freshman class in the state of South Carolina amongst private schools, PWIs or HBCUs, right? So my first year, we brought in a new student class of 750. Last year was 820, right? So we wanted to make sure that this guy right here, James Winfield, really comes in and really begin to look at the retentions piece. Unfortunately, of course, we're in the era of COVID, so we are slightly down, but at the same time, for the work that this team, enrollment from financial aid, admissions, the student success team, COVID allowed us to, I believe we worked well together, but it allowed us to even more rely on each other, right? You find the strength in each person and say, hey, I need you to do this. This might not be your area, but you're good at this, and I need you to do that. And it allowed us to really collaborate. So, you had professors and everybody calling students and making sure that those students knew how to get through the enrollment process. You had the Student Success Center doing what they do best is calling those freshman students, calling those juniors and seniors and sophomores, juniors and seniors, and asking them, hey, are you returning? Here's what you need to do when you get on campus or virtual. So for us, we continue to work together. We continue to collaborate in such a way that allows us to highlight our strengths as a team.
I love it. I love it. And it seems as well, COVID across the board with higher education and schooling period, we have to be more creative, and it's allowing us to do that and service our students in a different way, which is fun. You know, we find out things that we didn't know that we could do, but hey, we can do these things, and these things are working for us. So definitely take advantage of those aspects. What does recruitment look like? I know it's different now, as in traveling to various schools and fairs. What does it look like now?
So for us, it's virtual. We have to really rely on our relationships, rely on our alums. Our alums is going to be big. You know, I'm gonna veer off a little bit and say, you know, alums can be a gift and a curse sometimes, right? It is important for us to, during this time, to really support your institution, right? During this time to really, we're gonna need you. As an alum of Delaware State, whatever I need to do here in this region for Delaware State University, I want to do it. And we have the best, and I mean this, and I don't mean this because they pay my salary, but I believe hands down, and I've been to, this is my 5th HBCU, that Benedict College alums are hands down one of the best, right? They're so supportive. They continue to rise above, from California to Nevada to Atlanta, DC, Baltimore, New York, Philadelphia. These groups of alums continue to make sure, Dr. Lalande, hey, make sure admissions grab this kid. Make sure we take care of this kid, and sends me daily admissions applications, and that's going to be even more important in the era of COVID, that we continue to support one another, and alums are going to be huge in this process. And then, of course, the virtual space is going to be important, and finding ways to be creative is going to be important. Really doing more in the virtual space and our branding on our website, and making sure our website is interactive. You know, we can do better in that space, and we will continue to do that. So for us, recruiting is going to be different. I'm going to reach out to organizations like EAB and finding out how we can do this better and more effective. The Black Common App is going to always be a source for us. So we just got to continue to be aggressive. And South Carolina continue to really be aggressive as best as we can virtually. And I'm confident, you know, I'm more of an optimist that we will be welcomed outside in the spring. Maybe limited, but I think we will be welcomed outside and really begin to build. So, you know, everybody is fall 20 is what it is, right? Now we really need to pivot and focus on fall 2021, where that's going to be important. So we at Benedict College this past fall, our applications was the highest it's ever been, 9,000 applications, right? We had 4,000 or 5,000 before COVID took place, right? So it's going to be even more important not having to travel, not being able to do the things that we did last year to make sure we meet those same numbers. And it's going to be even more important because it'll be detrimental to institution. I take my job serious. I'm competitive, just like my president. My president is she can compete with the best of them, right? And for us, we are locked in fall 2020, fall 2021. We even had a conversation on Friday, and we were talking about what makes sense. What is the profile of the student that we need to be going for as we look for fall 2021 to really make sure that this enrollment is where it needs to be after COVID. Because I believe in fall 2021, I know it's going to be around for a long time, but I think we'll be able to manage it. And I believe begin to take it to that next level.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, I love it. This is exciting. And you mentioned your lovely president of the Benedict College, Dr. Artis, and she has been doing some amazing work, she's just been scoping it, right, with her team, and y'all have just been on it. What are some perks that you all have seen at Benedict College since, I guess, your new fame in the HBCU realm?
Well, I mean, I think Dr. Artis definitely utilizes her capital to uplift and bring up BC. So I know Dr. Lalande was just talking about, how engaged the alum are. And I think back to, I think about a year ago, I was at a regional convention, for our dear fraternity. With that, there was someone that actually saw my display, and they saw that I was from Columbia, South Carolina, and they were like, "Oh, you're from Columbia." And then I asked him what school he went to, and he was like, "Yeah, I went to Benedict." And he was like, "I'm living in DC now." And he was like, "We are amped." He was just talking about how much he was so excited that Dr. Artis would, take her time to come to the various alumni groups and no matter what state they were in, and just talk to them and just give them true updates, on the institution and everything. And he was like, "We are ready to give in time and money." And I was like, oh, just to see her level of energy and how she energizes people, I think that's been really amazing. And I know that's one of the reasons why I'm at BC. I don't just go, anywhere. I want to follow good leadership. So I saw the team that she assembled. Dr. Lalande, I knew about you from some weak ties that we have with some other individuals. And I was like, okay, I think this is a place that I can go and actually learn and, put my hands in various things. And I'll just go ahead and just say that in being there, I've never been so trusted in my life in any professional capacity I've had, but it's something about working for your own and actually getting that uplift and just knowing that, we really seek your ideas and so forth. And I think that's from the top down, and that's modeled. So I think Dr. Artis definitely perpetuates that.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Dr. Lalande?
And let me add this. Dr. Artis and her leadership continues to embody what HBCUs are all about, right? Her being accessible, and from a faculty, a student, a staff, when it comes to HBCUs, you can, or PWIs, and the debate goes back and forth. You can go anywhere, right? You can go where you can be tolerated, or you can go where you can be appreciated. And I think HBCUs allow for an environment where you can be appreciated. Benedict College is a family-oriented environment, an environment where we have amazing faculty and staff and students, and we just continue to praise our leader, pray for her, Dr. Artis, as she continues to navigate through these new norms, and really just a brilliant individual, and I'm just at awe with her leadership every day. And my door is 2-3 doors next to her, so I see her brilliance quite often.
I love this. Dr. Lalande, please tell us the future of Benedict College. What does that look like going forward?
So Benedict College continues to go through a transformation, one that focuses again on recruitment, retaining, persistence, graduation, building a quality student who is ready and prepared for the world, and at day one can go into a career, placing them in a career where they can thrive and achieve and be the best of BC, as our hashtag say. So we continue to build on our STEM programs. We continue to build on our offerings. We just launched our Benedict College online program where you can get certificate programs. If you're a gamer, if you want to do just pick up some professional skills during this time of COVID, where you have 40 million plus people unemployed, it is going to be important to have that certificate and that professional development. So for us, we continue to look at ways where we can grow. We're building our business development center, economic development, and making sure that we continue to be leaders in the community. So Benedict College, the hashtag is the best of BC. It's not, we think we are the best. We continue to strive to be the best that we can.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Winfield, encouraging words for that student that is in college and they're saying, I don't know if I want to continue this, especially now. What advice would you give to them?
Persist. And just beyond that, know that they have a right and they have a place within the space of higher education. As Dr. Lalande mentioned, regardless of what institution they may decide to go to, knowing that they can get that affinity, they can get that culture, they can get what they need at HBCUs. And, people keep talking about, yeah, HBCUs are hot right now. I'm like, they've always been, it's just a matter of this spotlight and all this funding that's being pushed into the institutions. But really just knowing that, with that culture and with the open door policy that Dr. Joann talked about, I think that's one of the highlights, of this institution. And, we're trying to mirror that and translate that into an online virtual space as well, because I know that's been tugging at a lot of people's heartstrings and not really be able to just pop in people's offices the way that they used to. But just but still that spirit of being accessible, you can reach me no matter what. That's what makes that draw. But really with those students, letting them know that you deserve this, you are worthy. And I think that at the end of the day, do not negate yourself. Don't fall into imposter syndrome, because that's something that we all endure. We are always torn, not always, but mostly, we've torn down, by external things, whether it be, familial struggles, financial struggles, societal woes that we're going through right now. Just keep the faith and stay focused and know that this is your time and claim it.
My time, and I'm claiming my time. Dr. Lalande, encouraging words. Student that is just in high school and they're just saying, oh my gosh, I want to attend school. I really, really, really do, but I don't know. What would you say to them?
Let me say this to that student: we are in this together. We will overcome this pandemic together. Tough times don't last forever, but tough people do. For our fall 2021 incoming class, it is going to be an incredible semester where we master this new norm, right? And because I think, after a year, that's what they'll do, and we cannot wait for them to join the best of BC, right? When you think about Benedict College, we have continued to make history when it comes to women. I'm going to use women because we just had the voting rights anniversary. When you think of women at Benedict College, our founder, a woman, Bathsheba Benedict. When we think about our alums, the mother of civil rights, September Clark. All right. When you think about our campus ministry, our first woman campus minister, Reverend Lily Burgess. And then, of course, our phenomenal first woman and 14th president, Dr. Rosalind Clark Artist, right? Benedict College continues to make history, and we want you to be a part of that history. We just celebrated. COVID is taking a shine, but we're coming into our 150th year, and we are just continuing to make history as we navigate this new norm. So thank you, Michael, for allowing us to share a little bit about what we're doing at Benedict College. This has just been an amazing time, and I look forward to welcoming our new class when they arrive a year from now. To our current class, they are the Mamba class. We are loving on them. They are doing well in navigating this new norm, masking up and making sure that they stay social distancing. So, following the rules. So we're just excited to experience this together. And that's how we're going to get through it.
Yes, and that's it. Togetherness. Only way we're going to make it. Dr. Lalande, Mr. Winfield, thank you so much for being on today and just talking about the fullness therein, Benedict College. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much.
On the next Michael Finkley Wednesday, we have Mr. Trey Gimmich with us as we talk about his podcast, his educational consulting firm, and his book, Every Decision Counts. Don't you dare miss the next Michael Finkley.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Did you learn something? Did you enjoy yourself? What did you learn? Put it in the comments below. Thank you so much to our special guest, Dr. Lalande and Mr. Winfield, for being on and talking about Benedict College. And if you want to learn more about Benedict College, please, there is information in the description below. Every school has a purpose. Every school has a purpose, and so it's up to the student at the time of research to find that institution that they can call home for the next 2 to 4 years. Again, thank you so much for being on today. On the next Michael Finkley, tomorrow, Wednesday actually, we have Mr. Trey Gimmich with us. He's going to talk about his consulting firm, his book, and so much more. So it's a show you don't want to miss. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Michael Finkley Show and ring that bell for notification, and you'll receive emails saying content is uploaded. And also, if you'd love to be a guest on The Michael Finkley Show, please email us at michael@thefinkleyexperience.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.